Sony's latest Android phone, the Xperia 1 Mark IV, is positioned to be some of the fiercest competition yet for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The 13 Pro Max is widely regarded as having one of the best smartphone camera systems available right now, thanks to a combination of impressive hardware, easy-to-use software, and excellent image processing. However, Sony is looking to deliver a camera experience that's even better. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV was announced on May 11, 2022, and while its camera system is a big deal, other aspects of the phone are just as impressive. There's a 6.5-inch 4K OLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate, Qualcomm's blazing fast Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor, and a large 5000 mAh battery. All of that translates to the Xperia 1 Mark IV, being one of the more technically impressive phones announced so far in 2022, but as with the past few Sony smartphones, the big draw to the Xperia 1 Mark IV is the camera. Meanwhile, the iPhone 13 Pro Max competitor has a slightly larger screen size of 6.7 inches XDR OLED, and a resolution of 1284 by 2778 pixels. Therefore, the density of pixels per inch will be less than that of Sony. In terms of performance, the device was equipped with Apple A15 Bionic with Apple GPU. In addition, Apple has more choice of memory modifications. These are 6 and 128 gigs, 6 and 256 gigs, 6 and 512 gigs, and 6 gigs and 1 terabyte models. At the same time, the built-in battery has 4352 mAh, with 27-watt fast charging. On paper, Sony is doing a lot of interesting things with the Xperia 1 Mark IV. The back of the phone features primary, ultra-wide, and telephoto cameras, all of which clock in at 12 megapixel. That sounds pretty basic on the surface, but it doesn't take long for the Xperia 1 Mark IV to show off its strengths. The main attraction is the telephoto camera, which has two distinct focal lengths that can be switched between at any given time, including 85mm and 125mm. This essentially gives users two high-quality zoom lengths in a single sensor, which hasn't been seen in a smartphone camera before. Another big addition is real-time tracking, which utilizes AI and the Xperia 1 Mark IV's time-of-flight sensor to keep a subject in focus even if they move. While the iPhone 13 Pro Max doesn't have multiple zoom lengths or fancy autofocus tracking, it still delivers an excellent camera experience. The setup is fairly similar, with 13 Pro Max using 12-megapixel sensors for its primary, ultra-wide, and telephoto cameras. Telephoto is limited to a 77mm focal length, and the ultra-wide sensor has a slightly narrower field of view, 120° on the iPhone, compared to 124 on the Xperia 1 Mark IV, but images that are captured still look fantastic. The iPhone 13 Pro Max may not be as flexible of a camera, but for the shots it can take, they're consistently gorgeous. The iPhone also utilizes a lighter sensor, which can be used for AR apps and more powerful camera features, such as taking portrait shots in low-light settings. When it comes to software, it's a pretty similar situation. The iPhone's camera app is notoriously basic. While that makes it extremely easy for anyone to use, it can also feel a bit lacking for anyone that wants more granular control over their photography. The addition of ProRAW has been a great addition for users that like editing their photos after the fact, but there's still more that can be done, such as adding an official manual shooting mode. By comparison, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV feels like it was designed with professional photographers in mind. The Photography Pro and Cinematography Pro camera apps give users unparalleled control over still images and videos, allowing people to manually adjust focal length, shutter speed, aspect ratios, frame rates, and so much more. It can all feel a bit overwhelming at times, but for people that take their craft seriously, it's an experience that can't be missed. All of this results in the iPhone 13 Pro Max and Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV having camera systems developed with very different people in mind. Despite the Pro name, the iPhone 13 Pro Max doesn't feel like a professional-grade camera setup. It's one of the best smartphone cameras money can purchase in 2022, but it also doesn't really go the extra mile for professionals. By comparison, the Xperia 1 Mark IV has hardware spec and software features a shutterbug could ask for. This results in it not being the most user-friendly experience, but for people that know what they're getting into, it's fantastic. That's not to say either approach is right or wrong, just that they're very different and intended for different groups of people. And in your opinion, which of these smartphones is better? I know these are very different smartphones, and to compare them is not entirely fair, but I had to tell you my opinion in this video. Thank you for watching, have a nice day and see you soon.